You plug your phone in before bed, assuming it's responsible. But while you sleep, that device sitting on your nightstand is silently bleeding money. If you're like most people, you probably assume this nightly habit is driving up your monthly electricity bill. But the math tells a very different story. Charging a modern smartphone from 0 to 100% every single day uses a microscopic amount of power. Over an entire year, it adds up to somewhere between 30 cents and a single dollar. So if the raw electricity practically costs nothing, where is the financial waste actually happening? The real drain comes from what happens after the battery is full. It is a combination of vampire energy at the wall and the chemical destruction of the device itself. Hitting 100% does not mean a device stops drawing power. Even when fully charged, your phone continues to pull 2 to 4 watts of electricity just to maintain that maximum capacity. And the problem extends to the wall outlet itself. Empty chargers and extension blocks left plugged in continue to draw power to run tiny indicator lights and internal transformers, even when there is no phone attached to them. The true energy cost in your home comes from this continuous 24/7 draw of idle electronics waiting for a connection. But vampire energy is pennies compared to the cost of killing an $800 pocket computer. Forget the old myths about putting your phone in the freezer or letting the battery drain all the way to 0. The real damage happens through a process called trickle charging. When your phone sits at 100% overnight, it naturally loses a tiny fraction of power. The charger instantly pushes a new packet of energy in to replace it, repeatedly forcing the battery from 99% back to full capacity. All of this constant chemical friction generates a persistent, localized heat. This heat degrades the lithium-ion anode inside the battery. Over time, that irreversible physical damage significantly reduces the amount of power the cell can hold. Your overnight charging habit is accelerating a $1,000 hardware replacement cycle. To stop this rapid decay, engineers are now using artificial intelligence to interrupt the timeline. This diagram illustrates a recurrent neural network used for battery management. By feeding historical charging cycles and user behavior data into machine learning models, the system can predict future degradation. Looking at the charging state transitions graph below, we can see how the software maps out different charging states over time. The system uses this data, along with real-time temperature readings and when you normally wake up, to dynamically adjust charging thresholds. On modern phones, this translates to the optimized battery charging feature. It intentionally pauses the charge at 80% and waits to finish the final 20% until just before your alarm goes off. Your smartphone has evolved from a passive battery receptacle into an active, predictive defender of its own chemical lifespan. You can help this defensive logic work by adjusting a few manual habits. Taking your phone out of a thick, heavy case at night allows the heat generated by trickle charging to safely dissipate into the air. You should also check your settings to ensure optimized battery charging is actively toggled on so the software can step in. To defend against vampire energy at the wall, you can add a simple piece of external hardware, a smart plug. By placing a smart plug on an automated schedule, you physically sever the electrical connection while you sleep. This completely kills the phantom power draw to all attached charging blocks and cords. Protecting your money requires a dual approach. You enable internal software to protect the chemistry, and you apply external hardware boundaries to protect the grid. A bad charging setup creates a baseline of excess heat, silent power bleeding from the wall, and expensive hardware dying months earlier than it should. A good setup uses intelligent software to pause the charge and scheduled smart plugs to sever the drain, leaving you with physically cool, healthy devices. Stop worrying about the phantom pennies on your electric bill and start optimizing your systems to save the hardware that actually matters.